Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today is March 1st and I honestly can't believe how fast February just flew by. I mean, like, it kind of felt long, but then it also felt like it flew by, and I'm kind of grateful that it just flew by because I'm just ready for spring. Yesterday, a friend of mine and myself, we went to this really cool like indoor nature experience in a nearby city, and it was seriously so cool. It was like, okay, for a reference, it was probably like minus 10 degrees Celsius outside yesterday, and stepping into this nature sanctuary, it was literally so warm and humid that we were walking around in t-shirts and like wishing that we like were wearing shorts because it was so humid. And it was absolutely beautiful, and it was such a wonderful way to spend the day and kind of just escape winter for a couple of hours. But anyways, that's not why I picked up the camera. So I'm picking up the camera because this weekend I'm going to, sorry, I've got like laundry just drying in the background, story of my life. This weekend I'm going to a women's conference, and as a lot of you know, because I've talked about it on here before, I am gluten-free, lactose-free, corn-free, and pork-free, and often going to conferences or places that have food, I always get a little bit nervous because I don't know like who's prepping the food. But this is a conference for my church, and one of my friends who shares the same allergies as I do, actually she has celiac disease, and we often swap back and forth making food for events, and so we are helping to make food for this event, and I need to go pick up ingredients, so I thought I would take you along and then I will show you as well what I'm making. But we also have to run a couple of work errands while we're out, and so we're gonna go do that. I still feel like kind of awkward vlogging in public, especially like when I'm doing something. So I just went to the post office to pick up a bunch of stamps, and kind of the main reason why I bring my crutch around with me, not so much is it a problem to be walking, well it kind of is long distance, but I really struggle with standing for long periods of time, and so I find that it just causes me a ton of pain, and so I often use my crutch to weight bear for me so that it takes a lot of the pressure off of my hips. So now we're gonna go pick up some ingredients. We are here at Co-op, and so, or we're gonna be going to Co-op as a person. Awkward. We're gonna be going to Co-op now to go get ingredients. So I'm gonna be making lemon poppy seed muffins, and so I need to pick up some lemons and poppy seeds, and then some like a dairy-free milk alternative. And yeah, I'm gonna check prices here because I also need to pick up some gluten-free rolls. But if I am not happy with the prices, I have to go to the other end of town anyways, so then I'm gonna check out Superstore as well. friends. We're back from running errands. Sorry about all the clutter. I'm coming out of a flare, okay? Give me some grace. Okay, I'm back from running my errands and I actually have some funny stories, but first I'm gonna show you what I all got and then I will tell you my stories. Okay, we're back. I'm really tired. Okay, pop everything. Okay, so like I said, I went to the post office to get stamps. So I got 150 stamps to send out our donor letters. So I'm probably gonna work on that later. And then I have my bag of goodies. And this is where the fun story comes in. So I did end up going to Co-op and Superstore. So I picked up these Care Bakery dinner rolls. They're gluten-free and these are really good. They're like nice and soft and they're to go alongside a soup. And so I picked those up for the conference. And then I also, oh, they fell out of the bag. I picked up some lemons because we're making gluten-free lemon Poppyseed muffins. I got my poppy seeds. I got some coconut milk because there are dairy-free people that are attending, and so I want to make sure that my food is safe for them as well. And then this is where the funny stories come in. Okay, well first, I got Tylenol arthritis because it's probably the only medication so far that I've found that actually helps with my joint pain. This isn't like a, you should try this. This is what works for me. I do not take it all the time. That's my disclaimer. I only take it when I literally feel like my body is trying to burn me alive with joint pain. Then I take one of those or two of those to combat what's going on in here. Okay, here's where the funny story comes in. So I got this Garnier AHA and BHA with charcoal serum. Do the beauty guru thingy. But, so I was in the skincare aisle and I've been wanting to actually start a skincare routine because, let's be honest, I am not good at skincare. I don't really have a skincare routine and I haven't been very happy with my skin lately. So in the last video, I shared how I had gotten like a shampoo and I had a really bad allergic reaction, which made my body break out in like hives / like pimples, like all over like my forehead, face, and my neck and back. And so I've just been wanting to try something. And so I was going through the skincare aisle. And as I was looking, I see this serum on the shelf and there are like 5 others behind it. And I noticed that the price tag says $7.49. And I was like, what? And I look at the price tag closer. So I used to work at Superstore as a cashier, and so I know everything you're supposed to look for when you are looking at a tag. So if something is in the wrong spot, you're supposed to compare the barcode numbers on the bottom. So in this case, you would compare the last couple of numbers to the one on the shelf to know if it's in the right spot. And so I took a look at the little tag and it didn't even have the right description on there. But I looked at the rest of the shelf and there was no tag for this item. And because it was sitting right behind a tag that said $7.49, knowing from my cashier experience that this was in the wrong spot and there were 5 others, I knew that Superstore was gonna have to give it to me for $7.49. So I put it in my basket and I go to check out. And so I had 2 separate orders because some of this stuff will be reimbursed because it's for church and some of this is for me. So I put them on separate receipts and I scanned this through and it came up at $19.99. That's really not that bad for a serum. But I just called the cashier over because I was at self-checkout and I said, hey, so I saw this on a shelf with a bunch of others behind it for $7.49. Can you please get a price check? So she sends a price checker. Of course, it's a guy, and he is not accustomed to the skincare aisle, and so he couldn't find it. So I hobble over there and I took pictures of the tag, I took pictures of how many were in that spot, and then I took a picture of the rest of the shelf because I used to work there, and some of my managers are still there and we're actually working today. And so I walk back and I'm like, hey, so here is the tag. You can see that there are 5 others on the shelf, and there is no tag for this on the shelf. And so I let my old manager know that, and they called up the manager for skincare to make sure that that would get changed. But I got this for $7.49 instead of $20, which I was so pumped about. But the funny story was, so I'm standing there with my crutch and I'm waiting for the price check, and I'm just making small talk with this cashier. And I had mentioned I used to work there as a cashier, and we were talking about like, oh, do you like it? Like, how long have you been here? When did you work here? Blah, blah, blah. And she just looks down at my crutch and she's like, what'd you do to your leg? I was trying to look for like a boot or something, but I couldn't see anything. And I was like, oh, I have a joint disorder. And she's like, oh, I was looking for a boot and I couldn't see it, so must not be that bad. And I was like, actually, it's really hard to live with a disease that nobody can see. And I felt really awkward about that because I already feel awkward when I go out in public with my crutch because I live in a small city. So first off, I'm scared that I'm going to run into someone that I know. And of course, I ran into my old managers, but they didn't ask anything. It was just this random cashier. And I don't mind people asking me, but I just never know what to say because I'm not officially diagnosed with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, but we know that that is most likely the direction that we're heading into. And so if it's someone that I know, then I will probably just tell them, hey, I have Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. But for a stranger, they really don't need to know my whole life story, but I guess some of you are strangers that I don't know, but I'm sharing my experience with you because I want to make you more comfortable by sharing my experience. And so it's okay to not know what to say when people ask you about your condition, and you also don't have to disclose it either. It's totally up to you and what you're feeling in the moment. Like if it was some creepy dude, I would be like, none of your business. But it was just a young girl who was curious. Okay, so I'm gonna go drink some BioSteel, and I've been putting off doing the dishes mostly because I've been in a flare and like kind of like a potsy type flare, and so doing the dishes wasn't one of my main priorities, and I also wasn't running errands for like days, so I didn't even do groceries this last week. But I'm gonna try to do some dishes, and then I'm gonna take out some ground beef because I'm gonna make lasagna soup for my husband and myself for supper. It's his favorite. And then I would like to get more work done today, so I think I'm probably gonna stamp some donor letters, and we'll see if we actually get the lemon poppy seed muffins made today. We might just wait until tomorrow, but we'll see. Just as I suspected, my heart rate is in like the 140s after grocery shopping, which warrants BioSteel. BioSteel, if you're watching this, you should sponsor me. Good morning, everyone. So as promised, I said that I would share with you what I am baking for this conference. So it is the next day. I didn't have time or energy to do it yesterday. So I'm gonna be making gluten-free, dairy-free lemon poppy seed muffins, and we're gonna prepare that now. and we're gonna switch to voiceover here. So starting off with 1 cup of this all-purpose gluten-free flour. The Namaste brand is my absolute favorite to use. And then I like to add in a little bit of coconut flour, so then I'm adding in half a cup of coconut flour. After that, I'm taking 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. I like to use certified gluten-free ingredients. After that, you're going to add in 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. Now you're just going to mix that all together until it's nicely combined, and then you're going to set it aside. Now I'm taking some dairy-free butter. This is the Baicel oat-based butter. The recipe did call for coconut oil, but I decided to use this butter instead. In a mixer, now I am combining 1/4 cup of brown sugar with 3/4 cups of white sugar. I'd maybe do this a little bit differently. Next time, I might just use white sugar. And it seems that I always forget to plug in my tools, so now I am just whipping together the sugar and the butter. And then I didn't have enough eggs for this. It called for 3 eggs, but I decided to do 2 eggs and then substitute a 1/4 cup of applesauce. And seriously, this made these muffins so incredibly soft. I will probably do that from now on. Just zesting the lemon. This is also something that I feel the muffins could have used more of, so next time I will add in more lemon zest. And then I'm also going to juice the lemon. After I'm done juicing and zesting the lemon, I'm just adding that to my wet ingredients, and I will mix that together. Now slowly combine the dry ingredients until well combined. I like to make sure that my dry ingredients are completely combined with the wet before I add in the milk, especially because there is lemon in here. I don't want it to end up curdled. Now you're just going to be taking your muffin tin, and I like to use some baking cups, and I decided to go with this cute teal blue color to signify that spring is here. you're just gonna fill your baking liners 3/4 of the way full, and then you're gonna pop them in the oven. So I set my oven for 375 degrees Celsius. Sorry, that's probably Fahrenheit actually. And then I baked them for 20 minutes, which was the perfect amount of time, especially because this is a dark baking pan. And of course, I need to let you know how these taste. So these turned out so fluffy, and the only thing I would do different is I would add more lemon. These were absolutely delicious, and I highly recommend you make them. As always, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, everyone!